Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lunch for the Soul. Are you ready to feel fulfilled today? Ready to maybe get some goosebumps on your arms? You are not going to believe our guest today who had some type of outer body experience, maybe into the afterlife, while experiencing a major medical crisis and a really scary one. And he's here to break it all down for us. So let's bring him in. Christopher Blankenship, welcome. I'm so happy you're here.
I'm excited to be here.
Well, your friends and everyone who knows and loves you calls you Bull.
Yes,
so do
that's
I get
correct.
to call you that? You don't even answer to Christopher,
I
do
don't
you?
unless it's work, I don't answer to Chris. So yes, you absolutely
Well,
call me Bull.
Welcome, Bull. I'm so
we
happy
go.
you're here. You know what? You got that because you were a stubborn little kid, and I'm so thankful you're stubborn because you're alive, probably
Yes,
because of
absolutely.
that.
Even the doctor said, and it was funny because afterwards she got to meet my twin sister, and during that visit, she told my sister, she was like, "He is a fighter. He's a fighter." It was like fighting a bull, like riding a bull, fighting a bull. And my sister was like, "What?" And I looked at her. I was like, she didn't realize that. The doctor at that time, Dr. Owens, didn't realize that was my name.
Oh
And
my
I was like,
goodness.
"Yeah, that's my name. My name's Bull." So it makes sense that you would think that.
How wild that your doctor said that. I
Yeah.
got to meet your doctor, by the way.
Yes.
She is incredible with UT Health and Memorial Hermann. It was such an honor to meet her. But we've got to talk about why you had to see her in the first place.
Yes, yes.
Just another typical day. You were going to work. Then what happened?
Yeah, so I was out at the plant. I work at some plants, and I had a structural engineer with me. Was looking at a building for a future project, and while we were looking at this building, my back started hurting. Just out of nowhere, between my blades, started getting this weird back pain.
So it
And
was pretty high, it sounds like, in between
it
your
was like
shoulder
right
blades.
here between my shoulder blades.
And you're thinking back, nothing else.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Well, I was in a car wreck a couple years ago and had some disc issues, so I just figured it was flaring up, something like that was happening. So it started happening pretty rapidly. So I told my building engineer, I said, "Hey, I need to walk out to the car because I had my car in the parking lot right there close to us. So I need to sit down for a second, kind of stretch out, and And so I did. I went to the car, and I remember sitting by the sitting there on my steering wheel and trying to stretch my shoulder blades out, and all of a sudden I just felt my head like wobble, like just drop, and I snapped to it. I was like, "Whoa, what was that?" And and I started getting really, really confused really quick on what was happening. So I told myself I need to stand up. Let me stand up. I got back outside my car, and next thing I knew, I was flat on the ground looking up. I don't remember passing out. I don't remember falling over. I don't remember anything. I just all of a sudden it's like
You're
I just
on the
opened
ground.
my eyes and I'm on the ground looking at my car door open. And
Is anything else hurting at that point?
no, I really wasn't feeling
Nothing.
anything at that point. I think I was just so confused on what was going on, and I just remember seeing my door handle and thinking I need to reach for it, and I could only have like a one train thought at one time, like.
And your
one
colleague, are
track
they
thought.
nearby you?
Huh?
Did you have a colleague
No,
nearby?
they were still in the building. I
Okay,
was out
so
there-
at this point,
I'm
you're
by
out
myself,
by yourself.
By myself, yeah.
Okay.
And so I grabbed that door handle, and I just remember I need to get to my phone, and I grabbed it, and I remember thinking my body didn't really work. I just remember like my fingers, hands, and I was getting confused on like, distracted. And so I'm sitting here staring at my hand and just like, what is going on? Something ain't working. And somehow, one way or another, I made it into my car, and I got my phone. I remember holding the phone and sliding down my hand, and I was like, I couldn't grab it right, couldn't use my fingers right. And then I was like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. And finally found his number one way or another, called him, said, hey, I need Exxon's medical team out here right now.
And you still had no idea what was going on. You
no
couldn't
idea.
think. You
I
just knew
couldn't
you
think.
were in medical
I just
distress.
knew I needed medical help right then. I could not make sense of anything else.
Yeah.
And I knew that I had such little bit of energy that I had to stay focused on just one task, and it was hard to do just that one
Did
thing.
you feel like you were fighting to stay alive at that point?
I
Is
did.
that what it
I
felt
felt like I was fighting for some. I was just really confused at that point. And but I knew that I was in dire need of help, and so I made that call, and it was like split second, almost like I don't remember passing out. I don't remember anything. It was like I remember making that call, thinking, good, good, good. I made that call, and then boom, I hear somebody standing right next to me, or squatting right next to me with the door open. They're like, hey, we're here, we're here. You're good, you're good. Keep looking at me, keep looking at me. You're gonna be fine, you're gonna be fine. And it's like that scared me and gave me some kind of, like, at the same time, like adrenaline, like energy or something. And I just remember all of a sudden getting cold. I was freezing. I was shaking. And I just remember my left leg, I couldn't control it. It was
So your body was in shock,
yeah,
it sounds
body was in shock. And obviously, I'll tell you a little bit more later, but I learned things later on. But in the moment, I had no idea. I just knew I couldn't control my body right. I was snapping in and out of reality.
The people who were there, medics?
Yes. Yeah, Exxon's medical team. And they said, we have ambulance coming. We have ambulance coming. Stay with us. Stay with us. Then it was like, bam, split second again. And I don't remember it was never like I was passing out. It was just like I went from one scene to the next. And it was just like a jar every time. Like I was just shocked on what I'm seeing. And next thing I know, I'm in the stretcher. And they're putting me in the ambulance. And I just remember, one thing I do remember about being in the ambulance, my feet were like at the edge of the stretcher. And they felt like they were 1,000 pounds, like pulling over the bed. And
What
why
an
your
odd
body does
feeling.
weird things.
But you remember
And,
that,
yeah,
the way your
and-
feet felt.
Yeah, the way my feet felt.
How intriguing.
And I guess I was saying something because that paramedic says, you want me to take your boots off? And I said, yes, please, please, please. Because I felt like my boots felt like they were 1,000 pounds, like pulling my feet over.
Oh my goodness.
And I just remember that for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And then next thing I hear, the paramedic, he's yelling to the driver, he's not going to make it, he's not going to make it. We need Lifeflight. We need Lifeflight right away.
And where are you right now?
I'm in the ambulance going down through.
But what town?
Mount Belvieu.
Mount Belvieu.
Yeah, in Mount Belvieu. And so they pulled the ambulance over on the side of the highway wherever we were at, and had Lifelight because they already hooked me up to EKG
There
and
wasn't
realized
time.
that the heart wasn't working and it was going up and down all over the place, and they said I wouldn't make it to the hospital, so they called ambulance.
You
I
hear
heard
that.
I heard that.
So are you processing this information that you're dying?
Yeah. Yes. And so I remember that, hearing that and thinking, okay, all right, that's why I'm feeling this. I'm feeling weird. I'm feeling disconnected, starting to feel like just not 100% because I'm not thinking straight. I'm not feeling right. Things just, the connections between my mind and my body aren't there.
I feel like if I heard somebody saying he's not going to make it, she's not going to make it, I would just start praying. Well, what did you do?
I did. I absolutely did pray. I did pray, and but it was weird because I already started having like this calm feeling over me, and I didn't pray for me. I didn't pray for like
To spare you or anything
to
like
spare
that?
me. And I don't think you. And once you get to that point, I don't think that's where your thoughts go. When you're doing fine, you're like, oh, God, please keep me alive, keep me alive.
Right.
But when you already start getting to that point, it's like you don't think about you, you're thinking about others, or at least that's how I was.
I could see
and I was
that.
like, my kids, were about my, take care of my kids, but everything had already started feeling peaceful. It's like almost it's not that you don't need to pray, it's that prayers are already been answered.
So you started feeling a sense of peace instead of panic.
Yeah, panic. And there was never really like, up until that point, I was just really confused. But then I started realizing, hold on. When he said that to him, I'm like, hold on, maybe I am dying. I just thought something was really wrong and I'm just going to pass out. But when he said, I'm not going to make it, we need Lifelight, then it started clicking. And like I said, at that point, I just started feeling peaceful and kind of calm, and everything was starting to feel okay. It was starting to feel like everything's going to be okay. And I didn't know what that okay was, but
you felt like you slipped into some other realm.
Not so much at that point.
Okay.
I just felt like everything was starting to feel more relaxed and more okay. Everything was starting to be okay. And then right after that, just like another thing, boom, snap. I'm in the Lifelight. I don't remember getting moved from the ambulance to the Lifelight. I just remember.
But you woke up in Lifelight.
Looking up and seeing a new ceiling, new roof above me, and hearing the paramedic saying, "Look at me, look at me, look at me. Keep looking at me, and you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay." And I just remember being so confused, like, man, now I'm in another place. And in between all this, I was having waves of like extreme pain, and then peace. Extreme pain, and then peace. And it was like I'd feel my body, or wouldn't feel it. I'd feel my body, I wouldn't feel it. But then in the Lifelight, that's when I remember laying on my back, and you're horizontal. And in my experience anyway, death has a feeling. You can feel death, and you know it's coming, unless it's instant. But in my case, the way I was passing away, I could feel myself moving, and then I remember feeling this sensation of like a shift, a move, or something. Have you ever had like in a dream where you just feel like, whoo, you woke up, you feel like it's falling?
All the time.
Kind of that feeling. But all of a sudden, just whoom, it's like I just existed. I was existing. There was no up or down, horizontal. That's what I remember the most, was like I was in a place of existing. And you didn't feel love, you lived in love. Like everything was so beautiful, peaceful. And like here in this existence we're in, when you feel love somebody gives to you, you know, it's a reaction to something someone's giving you. Where I was in that state, I was in love. Like I was in it, I was breathing, I was feeling it. I was like, it wasn't put on me, it was something I'm in.
My goodness.
And I just remember it was the greatest feeling ever. And I just remember, for whatever reason, I remember there was no horizontal and no up and down in my experience anyway. I was just there, I existed. And then all of a sudden I heard myself. And just like we think, you know, but it surprised me, it shocked me, because the way I heard it is not the way we hear it here. And I just remember hearing myself, talking to myself, my soul, conscious, you know, saying, it's okay, everything's okay, and you're okay. If you can, it's okay to let go now, or you can fight. And either choice that you want to take is completely okay and is acceptable. If you want to let go now, you can, but if you want to fight, you can as well.
And you had kids.
And had kids, and
made you fight.
It made me fight. I just had to fight, and it's weird because when I was in that moment, in that existence, there was no like. It almost felt like God gave me a second to realize what has happened, where I'm at, what's going on, and show me and let me feel His love, and then say, hey, you know, it's okay. You can come out. You can come now, or you can go back and, you know, give some good news to people. Yeah. And then I'll see you soon.
And here you are, giving us the good news.
And what was so wild about it to this day, I think about, because like before and even now, like I've had to adjust from experiencing that and then living back in this reality, you know. And what's so wild is like, before and now, like if I were to think like, oh, I'm passing away, my kids, you know, it's your kids and family and stuff like that, you would panic, you know. But when God brings you starts bringing you over to His space, all that you just know is peaceful. It's going to be taken care of. It's going to be okay, and you don't panic. It's just like you.
I bet that brings your entire family peace to hear those words from you.
Yeah.
Right? Something that you experienced. You went through a whole lot, though. Once you decided to fight, you went through something as a medical reporter that I've been for years. I've never heard of anyone having to deal with this. And I talked to your surgeon about it. They raced you from the roof of the hospital at Memorial Hermann into the operating room, and you were so sick, and they'd given you certain medications. They could not sedate you. They could give you anesthesia so that you wouldn't feel pain, but you had to be awake while they were repairing your heart. Yeah. Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember all of it.
How was it terrifying to be in your body knowing that they're repairing your heart while you're awake?
So two things. Visually, it was one of the most horrible things you could ever think of. I mean, they make movies of like,
yes, they do.
Worse than that,
there's a movie about that.
And so they got me. Before we jump into that, I'm gonna come out of the helicopters because there's something I want to really.
Oh, I remember the raindrops, right? Yes. You got to share that. Okay.
So I remember we finally. He was counting down. He was like 5 minutes. He said, "Stay with me, stay with me. Look at me, look at me." And he kept yelling at me. And his voice sounded like it was just, because we had talked about. I decided to come back. I decided to fight. And then it was like 1,000 miles per hour, so and just hit, and everything went to chaos. I felt the pain. I felt like a golf ball in my chest, and it was like, it was almost felt like God was saying like, "Hey, you want to fight? I'm gonna let you fight and let you get strong. You know, you're gonna make it through this, but you're gonna feel what it's like to come back to this." And it was like a golf ball in my chest. I just remember coming back screaming and thinking I need to push this golf ball, like this ball, what it felt like, out of my chest. And that's the first time I felt like the extreme heart attack feeling.
Oh my goodness.
Before I was dizzy, confused, and everything like that.
But
when
then the
back,
chest pain came in.
Then the chest pain came in, and it literally felt like my chest was out here, and I had to push something over. And then he kept counting, 5 minutes. We'll be there in 5 minutes. Keep looking at him. Keep looking at him. 4 minutes, 3 minutes. But in my head, it sounded like he was saying 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, one. Like it was like
it was that fast.
That fast, yeah.
Well, that's good. At least
that's
it was
good.
going quickly. I wouldn't want you to feel that pain any longer.
Thank you for sparing me, some things. So I don't know if I was just constantly going in and out or what, but it seemed like it was like that quick. And then they pulled me out of the Lifeflight and was on top of the roof, and it was raining. And I just remember everything, boom, slowed down. And there was just, I could watch the raindrops fall from the sky and hit me. And for whatever reason, it felt like I was touching God. Like the water felt beautiful, felt amazing.
It's like holy water almost,
it felt
right?
like love, like it was God made. You know what I mean? And it's like God gave me a few seconds of just pure peace. And I just remember I could watch them fall and just kind of see them drifting down and hit me. And it's just amazing. And then they got me into the door, and all of a sudden back to 1,000 miles per hour. Here we go. And it just in and out of the hallway, made it down. They had the surgical team ready and all the surgeons and everybody ready for me before I got there. And we get to the surgical table, and I remember them throwing me onto it. And I'm thinking, please let me, give me something, give me something, give me something. Let me stop feeling this. Let me, put me to sleep, And it just never came. It just never came. I remember looking, they were holding my arm. I still got 2 scars right here where they went in twice. And
so they feed that thread, so to speak, up from your arm up your artery into your heart,
and from my groin up into my heart.
And so they were able to numb those areas, but you said even though those were numb, obviously you could
still
feel
movement through my arm, through my body, and my heart.
Like?
And I could feel like my heart was being tugged around, moved around, and stuff like that. And just remember looking at them y'all realize I'm awake. And then I got to thinking, I'm like, do they not hear me? Do they not see me? Am I seeing something that different than what they're seeing? Because I'm screaming. And I remember they gave me a bunch of stuff, and I was dry heaving and coughing stuff out. And I was like, do they not see this happening? And I just felt almost like I was watching a movie, but I felt the movie. I could see it, feel it.
Well, and talking to your surgeon, they were sick that they had to do that to you, but because of the dry heaving, you could have aspirated, you could have died from that. There were other medications they gave you that meant they could not sedate you. I mean, there were very serious medical reasons why they knew they had to fight for your life.
Because my heart rate and my blood pressure kept going down to nothing.
It was too low.
And it was too low, so if they put me to sleep, then it
you
would
might
just
not
stop.
ever wake up.
Yeah, I'd never wake up from it. So I had to do all that completely awake and feel it and see it and look. I just remember there's an 85-inch screen to my left,
where the surgeon needs that to see, but
and
you
I'm
get to see it too.
Seeing what they're doing.
I think I would have just wanted to shut my eyes. Did you ever just stop looking?
I think I was just too much in the moment of freaking out of what's going on, what's happening, and just there's too much adrenaline going through the body to where closing your eyes is a relaxing state, and when you're in that state you can't
you're not relaxed.
So I kept wondering why, can they not hear me, see me? Do they not know what's going on? Do they think I'm asleep, and so it was not an experience I wish anybody to ever have.
But you're here, and you're alive. Their plan worked to perfection. They knew what they had to do to keep you alive, and it worked. So at what point? So I'm sure at some point you were sedated then, right? Where you relaxed and you could sleep and rest.
Right. So once they, and I don't know if they technically, I don't know if it was just medicine they gave me or whatnot, but once the surgery was over and they got my heart rate and everything, all my vitals back going smooth, then they obviously gave me something to let me sleep during recovery and stuff like that. And
what was recovery like for you?
Recovery, in the hospital?
Once you woke up, did you do cardiac rehab? What did you have to do to get strong again?
Right away, I didn't do a whole lot. I was laid, they kept me in the hospital for a couple of days, and I think it's on the 3rd day or so, they finally got me up and got me walking around. But so we did that. I stayed in there for a while, And several weeks later, I had to go back in because they found another artery that was having issues, and they went in there and put another stent in there. So during the original heart attack and surgery, we did a stent, and there was from what I'm hearing, there was a ruptured spot they had to take care of. So that, and then a few weeks later, had another stent put in.
Well, I know you had a very big loss in your family. What about a year before all of this?
Yeah.
Let's talk about your life changes that you've made, because after that death, I know that you started doing lifestyle things that weren't good, like smoking for you,
Yeah.
right? And then this made you quit cold turkey. Talk more about that journey and how you were able to pull that off.
Yeah, so a little over a year ago, my brother passed away.
I'm so
and
sorry about that.
thank
That's
you,
a
thank
big
you.
loss
Yeah,
at
big
your
loss.
young age.
And so I think my way of coping with that was, I was a cigarette smoker, and I was clearly smoking way more than what I should have. Then I was like, oh, I need to quit smoking, so I tried vaping. Next thing you know, dealing with stress, dealing with all that, I was smoking and vaping, and it just, within that year, I mean, it's a long-term situation, but within that year, it's like everything just stacked up.
Did your doctor feel like the smoking contributed to your heart problems?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the reason.
So like they clearly did blood work and stuff like that, and they said that food and diet was like little to no impact. It was all caused by cigarette smoking.
And you haven't smoked a
I
day
haven't
since all
smoked
that
since.
happened.
Yeah.
Very few people can quit cold turkey,
Yeah.
but you just don't have the desire. How are you doing that? I feel like your advice could help a whole lot of people.
Yeah, and that's something I really want to talk about, is that they don't really talk too much about cigarettes in the heart. They talk about cigarettes in the lungs. And I mean, we're adults. We get it. We know it's bad for us, but you always tell yourself, "Oh, I'll deal with it later on in life," or I got to have this to help me get through this. Well, me trying to get through the situation of my brother, I just leaned so heavily on cigarettes. But I smoked. I started smoking when I was like 17 years old. I'll say my age now. I'm 47, and I've quit here and there, but never for too long of a period. So pretty much smoked this whole time. But over the last year, I smoked way heavier than ever. But whenever I had this heart attack, I was like, and found out that, I mean, even if I didn't,
And only in your
wanted to quit.
40s. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really young.
Yeah, so after having this heart attack, really kind of, let's just say, sat me down in my chair and made me think.
Just a wake-up call.
Yeah, it's a wake-up call. And so I was like, no, I've tried quitting before. And it's just like, I never really gave it 100%. I just always fell back on it. And but I was like, no, my brother would not have wanted me to keep smoking.
Yeah. Well, good for you for doing that. We don't have a whole lot of time.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that as we begin to wrap up here, how has this changed your life? Because you went through a lot, from the most beautiful thing I feel like anybody can go through to one of the most horrific things. How are you different today?
I just think overall I see things different. I feel things different. I've learned where to put people in my life, who to bring. I had to figure out real quick, because going through that, I want to live. Now it's like certain things that are stressful or just aren't worth it. Live life, create peace, love peace, and give peace to other people, give love to other people, and you can create your future. Create it how you want. And anything that's stressing me out, I'm just going to ease it out. And I've learned what friends, what family, what co-workers, where to put them at in my life. I've had people in my inner circle that should have been on the outside, and vice versa.
You just figured out the hierarchy.
Yeah.
What about your relationship with God? Did you always have that your whole life?
I've always been a Christian. I've always had the faith, but I think going through that has just it's wild. It's just really made me feel like just more happy, more joyful. And some people are like, oh, you went through that? You'd be freaked out for the rest of your life. And don't get me wrong, I still have a little bit of post-traumatic stress disorder, but I know God's involved. So regardless, I have God next to me. And it's actually, as wild as it sounds, it's bettered my life. Yeah. Health-wise, it's bettered my life, and spiritual-wise, it's bettered my life.
Sounds like it just solidified that relationship.
It really
and
did.
just backed up all your beliefs.
All my beliefs,
And
yeah.
now you're able to share that news with other people, like you mentioned earlier.
Yep.
Well, I'm so
And
happy
like my shirt
you're
says, see,
here.
it's a skateboarder. Says,
Oh, look at that. Spread the good news.
Jesus has risen.
I love that.
And so, yeah, I think it's changed my life in health-wise and spiritual-wise. And I want to help spread that news that, smoking is so bad for the heart, so extremely bad for heart. You can have a heart attack and heart disease. And I think that message needs to get out more. And then also, just what God did for me. And I haven't told the story to a lot of people because I knew I had the news interview we did, and then I knew about this podcast coming. So not everybody knows the full depth of my situation.
Well, they're about to learn.
So they're about to know.
You're about to touch people's hearts like you have mine. Thank you for being so open, so honest, so true to share that experience with us. I feel like it's going to really help a whole lot of people. Bull, you're amazing. I'm so happy you're okay.
Thank you.
Thank
And if you ever want to talk about the story again, just let me know because I would love to help other people as well.
Yeah, well, you're doing a great job with that. Thank you for sharing your message. And thank you for being here on Lunch for the Soul. We're so happy to have you. I hope your heart, again, is touched as much as mine. Such a beautiful story. If you have a faith-based story and a medical miracle you'd like to share with me, you know where to find me at Fox 26 Houston. Have a beautiful day. Be blessed.